Kurtzpel released on April 30th to a ton of negative reviews regarding its monetization practices and grind. So is it as bad as people are saying it is? In short, yes. I'm Colton for MMOHuts.com, and here's our first look at Kurtzpel. Kurtzpel is, unfortunately, a largely incomplete game. Even by early access standards, it feels incredibly shallow. I know given the cold open and the massive review bombing the game's received on Steam, you guys probably just want to hear about the monetization, and I promise we'll get there, but first I want to talk about the one or two things that Kurtzpel does right. Kurtzpel's character creator is on point. For a game as shallow as this, there's a surprising amount of depth to how you can form and shape your character's body to fit your aesthetic. You can even combine different pieces of hairstyles to achieve different looks with just a few set pieces in each category like front, side, and back. Honestly, this is mostly to please the fanservice crowd as there are no less than 4 different bust-related sliders, but the fact that there are options to play as anything other than ultra muscle beef boy and uber thin shonen protagonist is a shining beacon in a sea of mediocrity. The game's other strong point is its combat. Combos are fluid and satisfying, especially when chaining into your more powerful abilities. Every enemy has a gauge under their health called a break gauge. Once you've depleted this, the enemy's guard is broken and you can deal more damage as well as send them flying with the right moves. The game's combat engine then allows you to tap the jump button to chase them Dragon Ball Z style and deliver more hits in the air for a powerful combo finisher. You can even change weapons mid-combo to change up how you finish the combo. This won't work on every boss though, as some can't be knocked into the air as far as I can tell, like the Golem. The combat isn't without its flaws, however. Enemies don't have traditional solid character models, so you'll find yourself clipping through them as your moves carry you forward, meaning parts of your combos will miss and you'll end up inside the boss during an attack if your spacing isn't perfect. Bosses will also sometimes get stuck in the terrain because of this. Use this to your advantage on the Golem fight by wedging him on top of the pillars during his rolling charge attack. He'll get stuck and have a hard time getting down. To explain where Kurtzpel first goes off the rails, I have to explain the game's gameplay loop. You undertake missions, each taking about 5 or 6 minutes to complete, to earn CP and AP to use on upgrading your equipment. This is the primary way you get stats in the game. You can also unlock equipment slots by earning the reputation with NPCs that's given while out on these missions. There are dialogue cutscenes after each mission where an NPC is present, and then you're thrust back into the main quest hub. That's really all there is to the game right now. Rinse and repeat. The 2 major strong points of Kurtzpel aren't enough to redeem it in my eyes, though. Kurtzpel suffers from a massive number of problems, the least of which is its monetization. In fact, the developers have penned a letter to the audience via the game's Steam store page concerning the controversy over the game's 2 DLC packs. If you've missed out on this, and good for you if you have, here's what you need to know. The game has 4 classes, and 2 of them are locked behind $15 paywalls each at time of writing. You then have to grind quests after paying to unlock them to actually unlock them. You can unlock the classes through playing, but according to one Reddit user's math, you're looking at about 45 hours of play to unlock them both. Obviously, this is a huge problem, especially since these classes are regarded as more powerful than the starter classes. Despite the developers' insistence that Kurtzpel would avoid pay-to-win mechanics, they both managed to paywall off 2 of their 4 classes and introduce loot boxes for cash that contained weapons and equipment. One user reported that weapons had the same stats as the starter gear and were only cosmetic until you upgraded them, but I refused to buy enough loot boxes to pull a weapon and test this, since they only had an 8% drop rate. I did buy 1 loot box though, and was greeted with an accessory that increased my ultimate charge rate by 5% at base value and can be upgraded even further. These pieces of gear also function in PvP, so no matter how small they may start, you're able to buy an edge. These accessories can also be obtained through play, but again, you're looking at a massive grind through quests to get them. Let me clarify just what I mean by grind while I'm at it. Each mission grants you about 150 CP, which are the points you need to upgrade your gear. The starter sword class requires 650 CP roughly to upgrade the weapon 1 time. This upgrade only grants you 4 additional points of damage to your damage range and takes about 40 minutes to accrue at a normal rate. That's what almost an hour of your time is worth in Kurtzpel, 4 points of damage. After that, the rates go as high as 1100 CP for your second upgrade and only get higher from there. This wouldn't be so bad if the boss fights in the game weren't so repetitive. A lot of the game's early missions will have you fighting the same 4 or 5 bosses over and over again. In the hours I've spent with the game so far, I've fought the Golem boss about 6 times in various missions. I've fought the Dark Elf Sisters about 4 times. I've fought the Giant Black Knight a number of times as well. There will come a point where you're forced to repeat these missions to reach new levels to unlock new ones as well. You can always level in PvP if you want, but you'll be matched against players of a higher level who have either used rebirth tickets to redistribute their stats or have better items than you, and you're likely to be decimated because of it. At least that was my experience in the PvP modes. As I mentioned earlier, the developers have written a letter to address the controversy surrounding the monetization and grind. It's kind of long, so I won't read the whole thing, but here are a few of the highlights. The developers have made the 2 paid classes completely free to play to all players and have apologized for the grind and the pay-to-win nature of the game in its current state. One thing that bothers me about the letter is, quote, "We thought we had balanced the game enough to warrant all the grinding." You're all entitled to your opinion, but no reward, no matter how balanced, in my opinion, should warrant the kind of repetitive grind that's on offer in Kurtzpel. They go on to say that those who have purchased the karmas already will be compensated with a new costume of respectable value, and that 4 cosmetic weapon sets will be given to all who purchased both karmas before they became free. Second, the game's rebirth tickets have allowed paying players to customize their stats in a way that free players can't do. This stat readjustment means that players who can buy rebirth tickets with real cash have more optimized characters. To counter this, they plan to create a feature that allows stat redistribution in exchange for CP, the game's regular free currency. This will likely mean that all players will have the option to grind to redistribute their stats instead of paying. The letter doesn't mention the removal of paid rebirth tickets from the storefront, so paying players will still have an advantage. The new system for stat redistribution is hoped to be completed by the European launch of the game in June. The third part of their plan involves allowing players to purchase loot boxes with in-game currency as well. Apparently this was always their plan, but they want to make mention of it now to ease some of players' rightful concerns over paid advantages. Unfortunately, no more information was given about when this system will be rolled out to the game. In short, the letter from the developers addresses the problems and shows a priority list for solving them, but it looks like the damage may already be done. Negative reviews continue to pour in on Steam and could hurt the overall projections for the game's future. Despite these incoming changes and the fun combat, I wouldn't waste your time and effort on Kurtzpel. The shallow, repetitive gameplay and over-monetization in its current state are enough to warrant staying as far away as possible. We'll check back in on the game for you once more sweeping changes have been made to the way it plays, and see if it's been made worth diving into at that time. Well, that's all for today. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe and keep it locked on MMOHuts.com for all the latest gaming news and reviews.